Welcome to this episode of CGTN live stream. I'm CGTN Xu Xingchen here in the center of Chengdu. I want to show our viewers. We have a drink right here. It's quite a special drink that some people prepare for me. I'm also going to have a taste later, but I'm going to tell all about it later. But I want to show our viewers about the view right here. So we're here in downtown Chengdu, and it's called the Sino-Ocean Taiguli. It's one of the largest commercial areas, not just here in China, probably around the world. And right over there, we have a tall building. It's the International Financial Square. And right here at this central business district, they sell a lot of stuff. And for each year, for last year to be exact, here alone, this commercial area sold almost $2 billion worth of luxury goods. Think about that. And right here in Taiguli, and despite COVID-19 interruptions, and the store started return to operation like in early March. That's about 1.5 months after the virus actual outbreak. About this drink. So I'm here in a very high-end luxury shopping area, and this champagne flute. However, it's not really champagne. It's tea. Can you believe it? I'm going to take a little taste. It's Chinese traditional white tea with sparkling water. And right here, they call this the medal. I want to show our viewers. So this is how they are making this tea restaurant here in the central area. They call the panda tea, and they are using the inspiration from the 5 elements in Chinese 8 trigrams. They have water, the metal, the earth, the fire, and the wood. Very essential elements to really, Chinese people believe that it will actually create human lives. So right here in this tea temple, what they call it, it's newly open actually. This is the first ever open globally and owned by a brand from Hermes. It's a brand called Shanxia. Draw a lot of inspiration from Chinese culture, Chinese history, and of course tea. And they're opening this tea temple to attract more younger shoppers. As I have mentioned, $2 billion worth of luxury goods are sold here at this area in a, what do we call it, a new first-tier city here in China. It's not like Shanghai or Beijing, but still $2 billion worth of luxury goods sold every year. And a lot of brands, not just Shanxia or Hermes, they're opening similar stores like this. They are offering tea and coffee, and they are trying to attract younger shoppers. And look at this. As I have mentioned, Shanxia is a brand that draws a lot of inspiration from Chinese culture, paper cut, a little bit of football, but however, it's a tea set. Can you believe this? It's a tea set. And luxury is actually being redefined. It's not just about the clothes that I'm wearing or the shoes that I'm wearing or the makeups. It's about a lifestyle. It's about a lot of things. And today we are going to have a deeper discussion about the market here, about luxury brands, luxury products, luxury lifestyle, and of course the future potential just right here in the Chinese culture, in the Chinese market. But however, I'm not an expert. I need a lot of help here. And joining with us, and we have a really professional bunch here. And sitting right across me, we have Jiang Qun'er, who is the creative director and CEO of Shanxia. Welcome to CGTN live stream. And sitting on my right, this young, beautiful lady, we have Wu Jiaye, a fashion model, and of course, online influencer in the fashion industry. And on my left, and we have this young gentleman, and Zheng Yu, and he is the editor and also founder of a blog called Fashion Models, and it tracks like how celebrities and models and how they dress themselves and fashionable products. But we're sitting around this desk, and for a lot of viewers, for CGTN viewers around the world, they might not. It's not a regular table, right?
Yeah, so it's a table that we can spend whole day together.
Absolutely.
And spend all our money together.
And spend all money together.
Oh my god. Yeah. So what's this? This table can do some tricks, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not a trick, it's a game. It's like a really famous traditional Chinese game.
Yes.
Mahjong.
Okay, so this is a table for mahjong. Okay. Yeah. But it's actually automatic.
Yes.
How that we can activate it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I need. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I'm a terrible mahjong player, to be honest.
It seems like I'm the only one who is really good at it here.
That's what we
Yeah.
learned. Yeah. So yeah, this is the mahjong, and so we need to turn it around, and we need to draw our.
来来，我们
We
来
go
一点啊
from here.
我来一点，你来一点，
Where's
你
it
来
going?
一点。
Yeah. I thought that we should do
They
the
do.
dice first,
Yeah, not it's just
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. So
Let's
we were-
play.
It doesn't
we-
matter. Let's just like act we are playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the thing about mahjong, so I want to ask about the inspiration for this dance. Why mahjong? Because this mahjong table can be found in Paris, in Europe, right?
Yes, in China and in Europe, in Shanxia stores. You know, we spent 2 years to design and develop this mahjong table.
Yes.
Because it's one of the most popular game
Yeah.
in China. You know, from young generation to now our grandparents' generation,
Yeah,
everybody,
this
and
is-
even
yeah.
older, everybody playing mahjong.
Yeah.
And 你看，哎，这里有个花。yeah.
How many tablets did we need?
哎，这个是
Jia, how many tablets did we need?
It's up to different kind of the weight,
Yeah.
like different. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just drawing it by.
Yeah, this is so there are so many rules like
Ah.
up to different provinces. Like
Oh, really?
our country, like in my province, my hometown, like you can play just with 3 people. But
Just
in
3
Chengdu-
people?
Yeah.
Oh.
But in Chengdu, I guess this is some other different way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the different region, the you know, like how to say the game, the
Yeah.
size of the game is also different.
Yeah.
In Chengdu it's bigger, and in the south it's this size. It's,
Oh.
yeah. And the different region has different rules.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
mahjong. You have Chengdu mahjong rules, Shanghai mahjong rules,
Yeah.
Taiwan mahjong.
Taiwan mahjong
Taiwanese
rules.
mahjong,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Mahjong
yeah.
rules,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So what I learned actually is mahjong is a very classic Chinese culture piece, and it's not just about gambling. Of course, you know, people gamble on this, but it's about a culture, it's about the heritage, it's about its roots. And I want to learn more about this because this is a piece that really represents some part of Chinese culture. But what about like for overseas buyers? Are they interested to get a piece of like mahjong set from your store?
I think again, it's a piece of Chinese culture, mahjong. Same
Yeah.
like tea, same
Yes.
like art of incense, same of like art of flower. You know,
Yeah.
it's a part of our culture. And what is important is when you have a offer which is contemporary
Yeah.
and beautifully presented.
Yes.
You know, with all the hidden
leather,
jewels,
yeah.
you know, all of
Oh,
these.
yeah, we got
yeah,
those.
specially designed,
have
and
the
with the
chips.
and with the with the side table where you
yeah.
can put your tea,
Yeah,
put your
absolutely.
snack,
Yeah.
put your bag. You know, when it's all well considered and comfortably sit for one whole day time, and I think this is not only for Chinese but also for the international people who is sensible, sensitive, curious about Chinese culture.
Yeah.
That's like a you can have fun. You you can have fun with Chinese culture.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Absolutely,
so-
yeah. And I think that's culture is redefining luxury. I think, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And of course, today our topic is really tapping into the Chinese market for luxury products or luxury lifestyle. But we are in a very special location.
Yeah.
The Sino-Ocean Taiguli. It sells a lot of stuff every year. But what's the current, like, for your brand? You know, you just opened the tea temple for the first time here globally in Chengdu, and what's your evaluation of the local market? Just for lesser tier city, not just Beijing or Shanghai.
Yeah, I think first of all, Chengdu. I think Chengdu is as important, as well developed as the first tier city. And I've been coming here for many times. I discovered the people here, Chengdu, they are very open-minded.
Yeah.
They are very daring to endorse something new, and they are very warm. And it's a city with warmth.
There's openness, right?
Yeah.
But of course, I think Chengdu recovers from COVID-19 really, really fast. And data suggests, like, in early March, over 90% of some 300 stores right here in Taikuli resumed operation. It includes like Louis Vuitton and Hermes, a lot of really high-end brands. What's your evaluation about the recovery?
Again, China is the only market that survived from COVID-19, and I think China, as long as that we are in a safe environment and we cannot go abroad, and we still have this desire to enjoy life and having nice things for our daily life. So that's why it's booming. The luxury in China, in Chengdu, and not only in Chengdu, in China is booming, and and we say in Chinese 救命稻草. That's the you know
Last
like
resort.
yeah,
Last
yeah,
resort.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, for the luxury brands and for this year 2020.
And absolutely, and I've been talking, because I just returned from CIE in
Yeah.
Shanghai, the China International Import Expo, and it has one of the largest presence of luxury brands. And they're all saying they're still registering double-digit growth here in the China market.
Yeah.
And the China market has been helping them to really lift up their
Yes.
global performance. But it's not just about selling products, because Jiaye, you are from Hubei province.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
could be a very hard time for you. And in fact, you were there during the outbreak. But what's your observation about the recovery, especially for the fashion-related markets?
I think the people just go back like really fast because like even in the quarantine time, like I stay at home like totally for like 4 months, and we still keep everything goes on. That time, like when I stay at home, I used to think like, oh my god, I'm probably gonna lose my job. But then I realized like, no, even you stay at home, there's still some other marketing that you can grab. Like for example, I got some like sportwear support, like the shipping the product to my home, or like would you like just do some like workouts at home and to show your audience like how to, you know, stay at home. Like even you stay at home at the quarantine time, like you still spend money, you still bring the customers to, you know, the follow your way to like I don't know how to say spend money. That sounds a little bit mean, but I still want to say like that.
And absolutely, and I do, from my observation, I've been talking to a lot of different brands, including Shansha as well.
Yeah.
So, and also the COVID-19 outbreak kind of presented another way for growth. Like e-commerce is booming, and the live streaming is booming, commercial live streaming is booming, and later on there we're also going to discuss about this, like how brands are collaborating with bloggers to gain the exposure, but for fashion models. And you have been blogging constantly and really good pictures and good content. But what do you think about the recovery so far?
Yes, I agree with Chun'er and Jiaye. China recovered quickly after this COVID. So we always expense luxury brands when we go abroad. But you know, we are the only market. Yeah, so the luxury shopping come back to China, and the e-shop style is very popular in China. So I think Chinese people is rich now, and we need to have some shopping. Yeah.
It's absolutely, and there are data suggest like because people are not, you know, we cannot go abroad right now, so they spend more time, spend more money, or their travel money, on just indulging better products. Because somebody commented on Weibo said like it's really like bipolarization about this society. But I want to point out, it's just that's the development of this society. There will be people that they can make more money, and of course there will be poor people, and that's why the Chinese government has been trying so hard to go to become a lawyer.
Because I think interest is most important for me. Not only the major, what I learned in university. So I choose the fashion industry as my profession way. For me, I always post some interesting fashion content on social media. I want to say something special and interesting to my followers. So maybe someday I will come back to the law.
But do you think like because of you study law and that some would give you that like a different point of view to look at fashion?
Maybe more rational.
More rational,
Yeah.
Because someone has commented again on Weibo saying like they are not really kind of because you know luxury products are so expensive they cannot appreciate it. But the thing is, actually, we're going to also delve into this topic. It's about luxury products. Sometimes it can be something that we just look at it. You need to learn the culture, to have the experience. It doesn't mean that we have to spend a lot of money to really own it.
Yeah, I think that's very correct. You know, how we define the luxury is crucial. And for me, you know, when I do in Shanghai, luxury is not related with money. The most precious two things in life, one is time. Second is emotion, love, emotion. You know, emotion means love, friendship, you know, the emotion with families. And if you remember when your grandparents give you some object from her or him, they will never say, hey, my dear, this is the most expensive ring that I have never had. No, they will say, that's really my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I have been wearing it every day, I have my memory, and
Yeah,
and so it's all about time and emotion. So that's why in Shanxia, from day one, when I built the collection, the brand, I want to insist on the new definition of the luxury, at least from Chinese philosophy. It's about a poetic lifestyle, 诗情画意. It's about balanced lifestyle. It's about time and emotion through collections, objects, space.
But on that note, because a lot of your inspiration draw from Chinese culture, but who are your targeted consumers? Like, are they Chinese consumers, or you're just trying to really kind of spread or share Chinese culture with the shoppers around the world?
I think first of all, for Shanxia, it's a luxury brand from China, from Chinese culture. So we will be honored to have, you know, first with Chinese clients, Chinese markets, China. And of course, we have the international vision. So from the third year that after our birth, we bring Shanxia to Paris. We want to also the worldwide to see what is the contemporary China, what is the excellence from China, and what is the creativity from China, 21st century. So it's like a window of today's China. So now our audience, in fact, is Chinese and the international market.
Absolutely. It's just like mahjong. I hope that it probably
Mahjong,
we can share mahjong around the world with next time we probably don't have to play poker with our international friends, but we can play like mahjong with them. And I also know this table can help reshuffle the tablets, right?
Yeah.
Probably how do you do that?
Just push right here.
Let's put in.
And that's I think that some of our viewers from out of China probably haven't seen such mechanism, and that but it's like a magic. And they have
The second game coming.
And it's a different color. The bag is different.
Because in the table there, it contains two sets of mahjong. So when you're playing this, they're preparing the next.
Yeah, absolutely. But just looking at the designs, and of course, is finely designed mahjong. But also, we're also seeing not just from like Chinese domestic brands, but also a lot of international brands. They are trying to connect with the Chinese consumers. They are launching collaborations or pieces inspired by Chinese culture. So what's your take on this?
I think, again, the worldwide now is interested in Chinese culture, and they want to, bring pleasure, to Chinese clients and markets. And I think that's great that more and more international brands are dialoguing with the Chinese inspiration. But I think, again, as for them, most of the Western brands, Chinese inspiration is like a light touch. It's not fundamental in their brand root. So it's a light touch, They can invite the dragon, the Chinese writing, into the garments. But as a Chinese brand, I think what we should interpret is not like this first degree interpretation of the Chinese elements. We should take the Chinese philosophy, Chinese art of living, the deep Chinese inspirations.
Or even some history.
Yes, histories. And so that's why in Chinese we say 取之神，弃之行. We should keep the Chinese spirit, Chinese proportion, Chinese inspiration, history, philosophy, all of this who is abstract from visual, and put aside the elements, So that's why in Shanxia you never see a real dragon or a real,
phoenix,
or
Chinese
phoenix.
rain.
Yeah, I think that kind of interpretation is deeper and it's more authentic. But of course, we are born in the Chinese cultural roots that we should do that in that way. And I think that's great that the Western luxury brands are also dialoguing with our culture in their own way. I think that will enrich our experience.
Interesting. But for Jia, and you've been modeling globally, and especially the New York Fashion Week, are you seeing similar trends like brands, even including American brands, they're trying to connect with Chinese consumers, they're bringing all these elements that are rooted in Chinese culture?
Most of the brands, I think they still need time to, they need to take time to get to know more about what does the Chinese consumer really need. because like at the beginning I feel like they just know the Chinese marketing kind of a little bit too shallow. It's like they feel like just some simple design like a t-shirt or some like a hoodie. You just print something like make the customer happy, like some really simple logo.
Big logo.
Yeah, big logo. But I feel like probably like 10 years ago, like 5 years ago, this gonna be like popular in the young teenager squad. But now I feel like the customers get like more smart. Like smart people, they got like they needed to say something new and more student, especially for design. Because like what you said to like the parents, I feel like a collection and the design, even just the details, you have to express the designer's love. Like how they feel like, oh, this design is like a special for like maybe for marketing, for the young people. Like you got to make the clients know, and they definitely can see, not just some simple thing with the logo. And you know, customers got to need more.
Yeah.
But do you think still some brands are trying so hard? They're trying to, you know, because we are seeing collaborations where pieces with the Chinese inspiration so very often. It's not just about the Chinese New Year anymore. It could be the Double 11 shopping spree. Of course, it's a great day to make money, but do you think all these things will attract Chinese customers?
I don't really think so. Sometimes I'm a meme, but I have to say, to be honestly, like most of them, I say, like if you don't really spend time to get to know this culture, you made the things really ugly. Like yeah, like I have to be, yeah, I have to, like I'm a blogger. I have to be honestly, like when I see this thing, I don't even want to buy that. I just feel like this is sounds like it looks like a joke. We always sounds like a joke, but some of like design, they just tried so hard to make the really shallow Chinese culture and mix them together. Probably they don't even really read like anything about Chinese culture. They just like went to Chinatown, go to some Chinese restaurant, and then they feel like, oh, we got some inspirations from all this like Chinese culture, and then you bring back just print them on the hoodie. Then this isn't, you know, for the customers. I don't think this gonna work. Especially it's new generation. Young people are smart. They don't buy that.
I'm going to turn to Zhongyu for a little bit. Just carry on what Jaya has said about all those pieces inspired with the Chinese culture, or prints, or the zodiacs. I mean, we have Chinese zodiac themed things, every lipsticks or handbags, etc. But they're collectible pieces. Some people would believe in it, and even though Chinese consumers are become more pickier, but do you see that we are actually changing? Because really, the money market is really something that tickles like brands to really enter China.
I agree with Jia, because I think our new, especially Generation Z, they call it, is smart and more rational than last 10 years. For a lot of overseas people, they think China is like a movie, you know, rich, crazy Asians.
Pretty rich Asians.
You know, China have the largest population in the world, so every little things will be blown up. But in Chinese culture, we are not very crazy, especially in expense habit. Yeah.
I agree with you actually, because Chinese people, we are great at budgeting, and we know how, you know, what money that we can spend and what money that's something that we have to spend. But of course, luxury is, you know, probably 10 or 20 years. It's about clothing, it's about handbags, but now it's also about home decor and about other pieces.
Yes.
And Qinghua, would you mind to show us a little bit more about the design right here that really kind of have the Chinese roots? Yeah.
With pleasure.
Yeah, let's
go. Let's go.
And I will call you guys later.
Yeah. Okay.
就直接走了。
Yeah. Well, let's walk here. I want to talk about the first floor. It's quite a special design.
Yes, the first floor is the Shangxia retail store in Chengdu.
Yeah.
And it has been designed by my best friend from Japan, Kengo Kuma, the master.
So what's special about it?
Yeah. In fact, on 2010, when I launched my first store, Kuma-san is already, you know, the architect who designed the Shangxia first store in Shanghai, second store in Beijing, and the third store in Paris. So now at the 10 years anniversary for Chengdu, I invite him again. I said, Kuma-san, 10 years later, I would like still you to design now a new store in Chengdu, the new generation, version of Shangxia. And so the concept was a bamboo forest. So when he used the section of the nature bamboo and with some very special treatment to anti-fire, all of these regulations. And so when you are in the store, it's like walking promenade, in a contemporary bamboo forest and discovering the Oriental aesthetics, the collection. So I think it's a very poetic luxury. The luxury, Western luxury, they use very precious marble, all imported from Italy, very expensive, this kind of stones, all of this. And I think from Oriental, for China, it's more about
like nature.
The dialogue with nature, that harmony, and the how to say the poetry, be poetic, and with lot of the beauty of imaginations.
And I want to point this out because we do really, because we roll the footage and on the first floor, and we do have bamboos on the fourth floor. And you mentioned that it's especially treated, so it's fireproof.
Yes.
And this thing.
This is another bamboo.
Yeah, but it's
coated bamboo. Coated bamboo.
Oh, really? Coated bamboo? Yeah, it's coated.
Yeah.
It looks just like bamboo, but it's
with
aluminum.
other bamboo knots.
Yeah, but it's aluminum, right?
Yeah, in fact, it's aluminum, and it has been with the 4-dimension print. So it has been printed as the bamboo.
Oh.
Yeah, and then it's can correspond to the regulation of the.
But for like consumers, if I want to have this in my home, can Shenzhen do it?
Yeah, that's why we created a new product category that we call space product. You can see I made some. These are scale 1/6 models. So it's like space product. It's like tailor-made, for our customers. You can choose the skin, bamboo. You can choose this skin. This is the tea brick.
Oh, I need to show.
Show brick.
So let's look at this model first. So you can see this wall, and it's made from tea bricks.
The Chinese pu'er tea brick.
Pu'er tea is my favorite tea, in fact. And I want to show our viewers the real thing. The real tea. The real tea bricks are here. So these are the real. Look at this. This is tea.
Yeah.
I thought
smell. You can smell, but.
I can smell the tea, and I thought it was like marble or not.
But I think that again is the Chinese way of luxury. Is when you enter your tea space or study room, the first sensation you have is the smell. The smell of the tea, bring you some surprise and pleasure, and then you can taste the tea, or you can read, you can,
And also that I'm seeing like the blend of arts or home decor or fashion, but you do have like collectible arts that actually have been put into museums, like the British museums.
Yes. For example, this is a very particular lacquer box, and this lacquer called bolo lacquer. It's dated
pineapple.
In Chinese you like bolo, or you call 西皮.西皮 is 就那个犀牛叫什么呀？
Rhino.
Rhino, Rhinosaur, yes. And so it's look like, and it's a very ancient lacquer craftsmanship from 1,800 years ago. Okay. And so this has been used 47 layers of lacquer, and each layer you need 10 days nature drying process, and with the hand dot of the different color, some is with the gold, and then hand polish. So this piece has been collected in British Museum as the permanent collection, and some other pieces have been collected in Musée des Arts Déco in Paris, Musée Guimet, etc. And the V&A Museum. The cashmere felt has been collected in the V&A Museum, and so I think. It's now our honor, of Shangxia, that for all of this world famous museum, they have the best treasure from Chinese past, And the 20th century was empty in these museums from China. And so they were so happy to find Chinese contemporary treasure from Shangxia and to continue that to connect with the Chinese Asian dynasties.
Absolutely. I'm just curious. It's just a decoration or is it a box?
It's a box. It's like for Chinese New Year.
Oh, okay.
You know, you put your candies, you know,
Or
inside.
cookies,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Inside there are 5 boxes. Yeah.
So that's the lid, right?
Yeah, that's lid.
And
You can open.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
and the lid is a sculpture, you know, handcrafted from a beautiful, precious jade.
Oh, it's a jade.
And as the lacquer surface is so shining and well done, you can imagine that's like a water. And the reflection of that Taihu stone in the water, that's we call the Chinese poems, you know.
Absolutely. It reflects the scenery.
Lot of imaginations,
Yeah, absolutely.
the poetic imaginations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also here, because we mentioned the tea temple already, and that's where I opened my my live stream, and I had this champagne flute, but it's tea, and that's definitely more modern and more like westernized part to share Chinese culture. But you do actually have tea ceremony, right?
Yes. Maybe you want taste?
Sure, why not?
Please sit on the Chinese Shangxia flying chair.
Oh,
that is very particular chair.
Let's just talk about this chair. It has like all those colorful colors.
You see, Chinese most famous chair shape is one of the most famous chair shape is Guanmaoyi, you know, from Ming Dynasty.
Yeah.
And they're made in wood. So this chair is very light. Is, you know, you can just take it with one finger.
So what is it made of?
And it's made of carbon fiber. You know, maybe carbon fiber, somebody maybe they don't know, they use in the racing car.
Yes.
Or the tennis racket.
Yes.
You have to be extremely light and extremely solid.
Yes.
That's carbon fiber.
Yeah.
So we use the carbon fiber as the new technology material.
Yes.
And inspired from the Chinese wood, 榫卯结构, you know, that traditional.
So we don't have to have like needles or nails.
Yeah, it's the 榫卯结构, the traditional wood structure.
Yeah.
But we use that into the carbon fiber, and so this chair has been joined by the Chinese wood ship inspired, you know, structure, and you know become a Shangxia flying chair. Sit down; it's very comfortable. You should go to the end.
Really?
Yeah, this is very light. So when your body moves, this move, and that is very comfortable.
But just by the looking, I feel like it's quite fragile, but easy.
You
It's
can
carbon
have
fiber.
270 kilo on that.
270 kilo.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's. I'm not.
540斤.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. That's like 5 or like 3 adults. Yeah, 3 over
Depends
3.
on
Yeah.
what is the weight.
Yeah, depends on the weight. Depends on the weight. Yeah. But the tea ceremony. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm being spoiled because you know have the.
他们那个热水要来点啊。Hello， 我来 ，Let me call the water.
Sure.
Yes. Let me call the water.
Okay, sure. Because some of our viewers have said like this is quite a special
热水，
store.
叫他们给我弄点热
And
水
to be。honest, it's a quite
开水。
things here
早上。
are very expensive, but it's a way to learn Chinese culture. That why can't we like sell products with Chinese inspiration like to like tens or like $20,000 US? Why not, right? We don't really need that all the Italian or Frenchness, but of course those Chinese like J's or whatnot. And I've been speaking with Jiang Chong'er, the creative director and CEO of Shanxia. It's a brand owned by Hermès. Of course, is a French conglomerate, but this brand is kind of rooted in the Chinese culture. And she's going to fetch some water, and she's going to prepare some tea ceremony for us. And of course, for our viewers, you can ask us any questions online, Facebook, Twitter, or Weibo, and we hope that we can answer some of them. It's about the Chinese luxury market, still registering double-digit growth, like for brands, not just here in China, but also of course overseas luxury brands. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much.
店小二，来。
So probably Jia and Zhongyu, join us,
yeah.
join us. So, but that teapot, like the one that is made from iron, right?
Yes, ancient.
Yeah. So we've been touring around these section of the store and exhibit the space project where all those art pieces. But just for you guys, do you think like the boundary between art and fashion is getting more mixed up? Like a lot of fashionable products are becoming more artistry.
I agree because I feel like art is kind of a culture. It's more like a global, make the people got interesting and their value is like a higher and higher. For the most of the brand, like as I knew, especially luxury brand, they're gonna host some special. They're gonna support some artists. Artists to have their own exhibition and or have their own collection or art week. Especially last week, it was a fashion art week in Shanghai. Like all these brands, like luxury brands, they want to host their own party and to invite more artists to know because I don't know. This is kind of interesting, like for the designer and the artist, they got something in common. Like sometimes they gonna make like a some artists are gonna make like mix some art element to their product, to their art, and some designer gonna like bring more artistic inspiration to their production, like to their design. So it's connected with each other a lot.
But absolutely, I got distracted for just a little bit because of these fans. 罗给我一个镜头啊。So the fan is 80. So here in Chengdu or the Sichuan, local has a local dialect called like 80. It can respond to almost everything as long as I agree with that. It means like comfortable, yes, when not, and everything, right? Yeah. Bash, yeah. But then, while you're preparing the tea, I also want to ask about like because we were seeing the space project, we see the arts, and it's even about fragrance. But why Chinese consumers are picking on this so fast, like this high quality lifestyle?
I think again, China, had a very long history of this, art of living.
5,000 years.
Yes.
5,000 years.
Yeah. I think it's not like appeared today. It has been existing since, like you said, 5,000 years. And I think because of some historical reason, that culture has been temporarily ruptured. And with the economic growth, with China's development, for sure, when you acquire the economic success, the next step is culture, is art of living. Okay? The renaissance of Chinese culture, the renaissance of Chinese art of living, the life quality, all of this. And I think it's a natural process.
Yeah.
Yes, and for a lot of young generations, I really observe that they are not against the tradition. They love tradition.
Yeah.
They love to be connected with our heritage. But I think the most important is like, what do you offer to them?
Yeah.
If I still offer to you a very old, not shabby, but very old way of tea, of incense.
Like way too old school is like not really best way for the young people. But the young people, especially now for the young people, like probably in my generation, they're available to go around the world, and after all, like when they open their eyes and then back to China, they are still proud of our own culture. Like they knew, hey, we're born in China. This is something cool. We got a kung fu. We got a tea. We got every cool things like supposed to happen in movie. Oh my God, this sounds like a rap. So yeah, and no matter what kind of like hobby they got, like a skateboard or like a hip hop or some more like a street style, they knew was the coolest thing that we supposed to have in our soul, in our bone. Like it's from our grandparents. Like it's like a take step by our family. So it's like something really inside of us, and
It's
that we're
like,
proud
like,
of it.
even including young people that we're
Yeah.
kind of trying to go back to the history of it, and we're trying to get to know more about history and culture. And I want to bring back like Joey for just a little bit second, because we talk about this. You seem like Chinese consumer, especially the Z generation. Thank you so much. And people are becoming smarter. I mentioned about like how Chinese people are great at budgeting. But just from your observation, do you think there are still people who would just say, "Oh, I have the money, so that I'm going to buy it"?
In fact, a lot of people choosing the fashion, but not for I have money. They only want to they want to in style, not out of fashion. The new Chinese generation, they know how to enjoy life. You know, the luxury is not about the expensive goods. I agree with Chong'er. It's time and emotion. Yeah, life is the most important part of it. So, learn to enjoy the life is a new luxury way.
Yeah. And you imagine, if you imagine this is your house,
Yeah.
that with your parents, your kids, your lover, your friends, you spend so much moments around the tea table, and have such, rich memories, and that's luxury, And of course, then during the moment, you need objects of quality when you touch, This is carved of inkstone. Traditionally, you use the ink.
Inkstone.
Yeah, inkstone is normally for calligraphy,
Yeah.
砚台. And so we use the carving craftsmanship of inkstone, but you use it for the tea cup holder, high temperature of the white porcelain, 中国的紫檀, 茶则, 茶针. It's you have lots of then especially like this when you use within time. 包浆嘛, time will change the color of the wood, change the color of the inkstone.
Yes,
So I think, as you said, that's the most precious, and that moment with qualities, with qualities, and the objects can be stayed, it's sustainability.
And this is oolong tea, right?
Yes, oolong. 今天早上可以喝的. In the morning, you can drink some oolong like this because you have some strong thein, but it's okay. Replace of coffee.
So this is oolong or iron wine.
乌龙，高山乌龙。
Oh,
对
okay.
对。
But you mentioned about like things that will, have all the imprints and the memories of a family, like tea and little sets, and actually
Yes, I have a yes.
a little something.
This is the most precious objects from Shanxia. Priceless.
I'm going to interrupt for just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not just like pieces that we're seeing here. It's not about like clothing or the luxury things that we're going to really see and touch and wear. It's something actually.
Culture object.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's even more precious for me, I think. And they call it the box, right?
Yeah, this, every few years I try to create a culture object. Each time we choose a theme. So that's the theme of the box is pass it on.
Pass it on.
Family and heritage. Okay. And so we have a team that we spend 2 years to interview.
I thought this is an album, like
Yeah.
a photo album.
Interview.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we interviewed 1,000 family, and finally we choose 100 family from these 1,000. It's not only photo; it's also we interview the families, so they tell the stories.
Oh my god, I think
tell
my
this-
family used to do the same thing. Like my father,
Yeah.
he loved to like write down something like a little tips.
Notes.
Like a little
on the
notes
back side
or
of the
some
photo.
poetry,
Yeah.
like my daughter just born today. I'm happy, but I'm sad, or something like this.
Yes.
Like
And we can see discovered 20th century, 100 years history of China through families, because we truly believe the best way of pass it on is through families. And we can discover that different period you have different styles, yes. And during hundreds when China is up and down, there's two things that never disappeared. One is the pursuit of love, and second, the pursuit of beauty. Different period, they have different styles,
That's
color the
cute.
photo, different, way of dress. And what is very touching is that the family most of the family is the young generation in the photo who are telling the story. This is my parents, this is my grandparents, this was my cousin, this was Nana. And the time passed, but all these kind of memories, emotions stays.
Remains with
Yes.
memory.
And let me share with one story with you. I remember very well. And all the story has been told, and written in a very even we hide some, you can discover. We have some secret. This is a real, authentic, vintage cinema tickets
Oh, this is cinema.
from 80s.
Let's have a closer shot.
对，29排9号，
The movie
世界医
ticket.
师俱乐部。
Yeah.
The movie
Same,
ticket.
same.
Yeah, the real one. And so in each, this is a limited edition, and in each box you have a different, real, authentic cinema tickets. Okay, the real one. And for example, I remember this is a very nice story. I remember that. So maybe you can read. 你这个正面，你读一遍这个，你看。
I found this photo.
念中文先。
我找到这组照片，拿去问我的爸爸。
Photos and then
他说那
asked
时
my
候他正和
father.
我妈妈谈恋爱，和我想
He
的一
was
样。
falling in love with my
因为每张照片上
mother.
他都没有看镜头，而是深
And
深
he
地
didn't look at the
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's just simply he is saying that this is the parents of this Oh Ya-Ying, okay? And he said that when I discovered this group of photo, my father told me that he was truly in love with my mother. And I proved it because in all of these photos, my father is not watching the
Look to
camera
the
at all.
camera.
He is always deeply, looking at my mother with love. So, this is, it's very simple and ordinary words, but it's a piece of moment, And we also have letters, diaries, telegrams. This is a letter. This is very funny. It's a letter from a 17-year-old girl. Her name is Tianqing. She wrote a letter to her future when she will be 21 years old. So she writes the letter at the age of 17. This is the letter she wrote at the age of 17. And she asked many questions about her future. 很好玩的. Yeah. Lots of questions. And we also have the diary of a kid called Yao Wei Dong. It's different.
So this is not only yours, it's like you collect.
Yeah,
so many
100
other
families.
people's. Oh wow.
And I have mine here too. One of these is mine. Is my grandmother, my grandfather's story. Yeah, is here. Okay, this is my grandfather, and this is my grandma, my grandfather, my mother. Yeah, and yeah.
Oh, that's so shit.
Yeah, this is my grandma when she was 80 years old. I was doing my first jewelry design, show, and she was my model.
That means a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, top model. I still remember the detail when it's like 20 years ago, when I want to convince her to, she needs to dress, naked on the top and be wrapped by some fabrics. And I prepared like 10 reasons to convince. But in the end, I used 0, like the reason I prepared, because immediately he said, no problem, yes, let's do it. And then she just, like doing that.
And this is actually the wrapper
Yeah.
for candies, right?
其实我们小时候的 this the wrap for
candies
candies,
pickle.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Danny Nguyen on Facebook commented, China needs to create its own luxury brands instead of consuming European luxury brands. Every city in China has the same European luxury brands. It is boring. I don't go to China to buy Louis Vuitton. I go to China to seek out Chinese own interesting and unique luxury brands. And the better story is that actually even you can find like brands like Shanxia in European markets as well. So
Second layer, secrets， 还有第二层呢。来，你们来，谁代表一下？一起来啊！哇，1、2、3，哇！
oh my god, I love this.
啊，你们看一下哦 ，treasure box。
This is the treasure that like when I was young.
Yeah.
Little marble.
Yeah. 哎，红领巾。
Oh.
And there's also authentic vintage train tickets.
Train
Every
ticket.
box has a different one.
And this is the real one.
The real one. And some villages disappear already, no more. 很多村庄已经没有了。 And this is the
The
surprise.
letters from
This is
Tianqing.
I
the thing to
discover-
prove you're a good kid.
Yeah.
You're a good kid.
Yeah.
And we discover the letter that Tianqing
Oh.
replied at the age of 21 to her letter that she wrote to herself at the age of 17.
But how did they do it?
So you can read later secretly because there are a lot of intimate questions.
The thing is, like, how old is this ticket?
This is like during 80s. It's
It's like 20, 30 years.
30年了，快40年。
Oh,
Like
40
30 to 40,
Yeah.
depends, yeah.
I just
30
want
to
to point
40.
out, like, it's only like 1 kwai. That's
对呀，
1 yuan for the ticket. But now it's like the cheapest.
那就翻了
Probably,
200倍。
yeah. It would be like 100 yuan or 200 yuan.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
哪里去哪里？
是已经没有的地方了。
有些村庄已经没有了，有些村庄有，有些村庄没有，每一张都是不一样的。
进行
对。
图块。
And each cultural object we have a special guest, artist guest. So for this one, I invited Jia Zhangke, great
famous
movie,
director,
director, because his movies is always about heritage in the family, pass it on. So then he wrote the prelude for us, and in the end of this particular book, we keep several pages empty. Is for you, for the collectors,
Write your
to,
own
to
story.
put your story in and to pass it on. So that's
But how are consumers reacting to this? Because this is really the luxury with time. So as we have been talking about, luxury is not just about the price or it's about the pieces. It's about the time, about the emotion, about
Yeah.
family time. But our Chinese consumers are getting more interested in
yes.
these
I
products.
think Chinese people and the worldwide, international people, because we also translate into English and French. And the international people, the Chinese people, they are all very sensitive about this.
Yes.
Culture is priceless. And I remember, the French Prime Minister, a lot of these kind of government. When they come to Shanxia, they will always get this. And they always told me, Hagamian told me that, the history should, remember this. And this is the most precious, most luxury objects in the world. So they always bring this back.
But what about like regular consumers? That we're going to move on to talk about more about the characteristics of Chinese consumers, because still, like we're seeing trends.
Yeah.
There are a lot of trends in the luxury world, or just regular high street fashion. For example, smaller bags, and Shanghai is also launching smaller bags as well. And you have this collaboration with Chen Man, a great fashion photographer with millions of followers on the internet. So, what really do Chinese consumers want nowadays?
From my observation, I think Chinese consumers, they have strong, first, they have their confidence. I think they have the confidence.
Yeah.
You have the confidence. We have the confidence about our own taste, about our style, about our culture, our nation. We have that confidence that we may not really have 30 years ago, because we were still struggling about
Food,
yes,
etc.
yeah. And I think that is the first point. With that confidence, we are free. We are free to choose, to take, to create what we feel good for us, suits us. I think it's beyond the fashion. I think for Chinese consumers, for us, it's beyond fashion. It's looking for an expression to create our own style that with the Chinese cultural roots, but with the international kind of perspectives. Because today it's global. With the internet, we are becoming global. And for me, that's my point of view. It's beyond fashion.
It's a great point. Like it's beyond fashion. It's about lifestyle. It's about how that we're going to make ourselves comfortable and confident, stylish. And because for you two fashion bloggers, you've been writing stories and posting photos, etc. Sometimes do you feel it's quite hard to make your followers or your readership happy?
I don't care if they're happy or not. Like I don't really care about this. Like, thank you. I really care about if I am happy because basically I'm a human and I'm a costume. Why I got an audience probably just because there's some percent of all these people, they like my style to shop. But if I keep doing myself, I can still got like a more people who agree with my opinion. So this is how we call like a key opinion leader. This is what my job supposed to call. So I'm not like a pleasure every people. I only pleasure myself. If I just keep doing what I supposed to do, I'm sure that I got more followers agree with me. So this is the point of blogger. Like a blogger never be a job to make other people happy. Like we're not a clown, but if you just express your opinion right and in your own way, you got some like your like an exclusive way to show the style. Like you get the followers like this, not like oh, I send something to make you happy. That's only when you send a coupon or money to make the people happy.
That's an interesting point. It's more make people to think about. It's to kind of really kind of chew a little bit more before buy things or kind of really jump on the guns to kind of consume, right? But we're also seeing like closer and increasing partnership between brands, especially luxury brands and bloggers and fashion bloggers. But for Joan, for you, do you feel like you're pressure to make people happy in that regards? Because brands are finding you, they think you're a really good channel to kind of to help to spread the good news or to spread something to achieve somewhat effects.
It's difficult to pleasure everyone, I think. So I don't. We can find happy from a lot of short video applications such as the TikTok. So I don't need to make some happy for my followers. I just want to share some special, interesting news and make them talk about that, discuss with that topic. It's better just make some happy for them.
So it's more about general chatters, discussions,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
over the top. It's not just about how many likes that you're going to get on.
Yeah, communication is more important.
Communication is more
Yeah, as
important.
I said, he doesn't care too.
Yeah, again, I think, it's interesting how you define the difference between what is one sentence, a luxury brand and a consumer goods brand, in one sentence. If I do it simple, consumer goods is a brand. It's a system of marketing, which means you need to do a lot of research. What is the actual most trendy color, whatever. Then you follow, you satisfy the need of your customer. Okay, so it's marketing system. If I use one sentence, you satisfy the needs of a customer, consumer goods brands. And what's the luxury? Is you anticipate and create the desire of your customer. Which may not exist now, but you need to anticipate and create. Like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I started Shangxia, I could do a lot of focus group, but nobody would tell you exactly what they want or what they desire about for a Chinese luxury brand. I did some, but you cannot really get the solid information. So then you have to make an offer. It's the offering system. We make an offer. It's a generous. I offer that on the table. I have ready to wear home, and then you like it. Wow, great. You take it. You may be not yet sensible. No problem. Maybe in 2 years you will come back. So it's an offering system.
But you mentioned about like creating desires, and we're also seeing this new trend. Like brands are also branching into like catering or restaurants or hotels, etc. And for Shangxia, the first ever tea temple here in Chengdu. What's the logics behind that move? Are you trying to educate more people to know about this brand?
I would not use the word education. I think again, it's an offering. It's one of my offer. My offer is large. In my offer from Shangxia is from furniture, from home objects, from tea, from garments, jewelry, handbags, and space products.
Sneakers.
Sneakers. I just launched this year the sneakers, and on top of those, I launched a experience product that you may not buy a 3,000 or 5,000 kwai tea set, but you can have a beautiful moment using Shangxia, great, porcelain, tea objects, and all the Shangxia table, flying chair, everything, but maybe with 200, 300 kwai for 60 minutes, for 90 minutes. So it's experience product. So I really, it's for us, it's not like I want to, please these young people. I want to dialogue with them. But that's my offer. That's my way.
At least give them an opportunity
Yes, to dialogue with you.
Yeah, definitely same way that same thing to what we post.
Yeah.
Like we just offer the people like this is my style and then try to make myself be an IG.
Yeah.
But like if you like this or not, this is not my problem. This is your problem. You can figure out like if you like my stuff or not.
But then we come back to like the strategies for brands to expand here in China, because brands are becoming more creative. It's not just Chinese opening like a tea house or kind of catering service. But it's also about other brands. They are opening like a cafe
Yeah.
place. They're not just selling jewelry. They are going to sell a cake, but with a lot of cheaper price. So some analysts say that's how brands are trying to groom younger Chinese consumers, because younger people, they might not afford like a $10,000 US dollar like jewelry ring, but they can of course afford that $10 cake, but with the same brand. So for you guys, do you think, what do you evaluate these kind of strategies?
I think at the beginning I thought this kind of way is just bring the clients like back to the window shopping, because shop online is like more popular. Almost everybody just stay at home and use their phone to shop online. But then how to bring the costume back to the shop, exactly real shop, is using this kind of way to offer them a situation to make them feel like, oh, this is a luxury thing. Like, look, my cup is from blah, 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 some big brand. And they just enjoy this moment. But like, I agree what you just said, this kind of the thing is like using a cheaper price to take like just a cake or something. I think this is a training. But I think this kind of training gonna be like really short, because like if you just, because most of them like I'm not like really mean to any brand. I just most of them I mean experienced. I don't feel like their cake is like really good. Like after the training, after it's just been popping up like for maybe 1 month or 2 months, the young people still really going to some shop like who has amazing real delicious cake, like because the cake and the coffee is more about the taste, like not really about like what's the brand from. Probably for their social media picture they're gonna just go there, but just once, because it's not gonna be twice. Most of the time I think it's gonna be like that.
But what do you think about it?
Yes, I agree with her. Coffee or tea temple, it's the style of the brands, because such as Shangxia bring tea culture to customers, and Burberry bring British afternoon tea culture to China. It's the milk tea is popular in China, and the high tea is the price of high tea.
Oh,
Chicha,
Haiti.
Yeah.
more than $5. Yeah.
It's more
so,
premium.
Yeah, $10 cake is not unfold for Chinese customer, and I think it's an experience for customer to communicate with brands, such as with the tea table. We enjoy the Chinese traditional tea culture. The price of tea is not important, but communicate with brands and experience of the brand's culture, DNA, and emotion is more important.
Oh my god, I thought the taste is the most important, because I feel like the tea temple is amazing. Like this gonna be the really amazing spot that if I have some friend who want to just hang out with me, and when we've been tired, like after shopping and work too much, and I will say like, let's just stop right here and take a tea. Like this is exactly the place that I would like to stay, because everything is fun, super good, and the tea is amazing. So I think the taste is really important, actually.
And also the environment is not just like for Haiti,
Yeah.
it's just grab and go, and you need to queue up for like 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah,
And-
you need some place
Yeah.
to chill. This
Yeah.
is really important.
But that comes back to like what really young Chinese consumers want for the younger generations, but also there are concerns.
Yeah.
Like because I'm reading into a lot of data, especially here in Chengdu, actually the debt level, including for young shoppers, is pretty high. And a Nelson survey suggests that almost 90% of Chinese post-90 and post-95 generations have used financial tools to buy products, including luxury products. So they would pay by installments or pay next month. And of course, right here, we have really great financial technologies. We have Alipay. We don't really have to take our wallets anywhere. Are you worried? And are you scared if these kind of somewhat like extravagant shopping habits continue that will some hurt your brand as well?
I think for young generation has a different habit as the parents' generation. Parents' generation, they have a lot of savings.
Yeah,
they will
they store
never
everything.
they will never spend more than what they have. Okay, but for the younger generation, they have different mindset. They will spend in advance, and with all the system offered to them. I am not really worried about that because I'm confident about Chinese. Culture, because in our education, the young generation, they have, the international education system today. We are more and more international. But still, we were trained and educated with some traditional philosophies, thinkings, and wisdom. Okay? I think some, like, blossom of spending is at the moment when you just discover the luxury or wow. So you spend. One day you will become like him, lawyer, like more rational. I think in life you will have sometimes wow, it's new. I do that. I want that. I try that. So maybe someone lose control. Someone is still under control. But later, sooner or later, they would back to the more rational way, and because once you discover it, you're seeing a lot and you experience, and then you will find your own way. Or you will find, okay, that suits me, that's mine, I want to go that, I want to get that.
It could be a learning process.
Yeah, it's a learning, it's same like for kids. When a kid is less than 6 years old, freedom. Then primary school, you learn, you have rules. I think I'm not really worried about that because I really think, and Chinese philosophy is like Shang-Xia, is two opposite, Shang and Xia, okay? Freedom, up and down. Freedom and the rules, okay? And the nature and human being, tradition and the contemporary modernity, craftsmanship, high technology. It's not.
It's got to be balanced.
Yes, yes. It's like the French, the French way who, how to say, translate China, is l'empire du milieu, the emperor of middle, the balance.
Yeah, that's
very good. That's the quote of the day. China is the emperor of the middle. Being
balanced,
being moderate, being moderate. And on that note, and I think, of course, those shopping comes with China's fast development, and I need to throw in another number is the International Monetary, the IMF only predicts China will be the only economy with positive growth in 2020 because of COVID-19. But anyways, but for you two guys, still about younger generation because you two are very young.
we
are
are
there
not really
Very young.
as age, because lottery, because Tom creates the lottery, and I think even for me, and we still need to settle down a little bit, and we need to learn a lot more. But have you ever encountered any stories? It could be a good story that a great story that your friend or family member that just great at budgeting and they experience the lottery, but they don't really break their bank. Or are there any bad examples of like young shopper that just went nuts?
I think there's a lot of stories, especially I always hang out with the young people, not like even young like me, even like some kids in like age they're almost close to born around like 2000. Like I kind of really interested about their way to shopping and spending money, and they kind of admire about like the people who got luxury life, like especially like we do blogger, we got all the like good things from brands like for seating and the gifting from the PR or something. We had already got almost lucky people in this whole society. Like, but we still know there's still some other people like who do the daily work, but just the normal work, like go to the office, but they still admire about luxury life. Like they want to go out with a really good like a popular bag and icon bag or something, and they want to look really fabulous, like they want to look rich. So some of them probably gonna borrow friends' money, some of them borrowed from bank, but they have like a really high standard, or like if you have to get the money, like do the credit from the bank. But some of them just borrow the money from the friend, or like even borrow the clothes from the friend to show how luxury life they had, but only for pictures. Like this kind of is like a really bad story. Like I hate this kind of behavior. Like when the other people know, you're gonna really lose everything. But there's still some good story that I used to hear. Like for the young people, I knew a guy who born '98. Like he is a big fan of like a fancy car, like a Lamborghini. And his dream, like when he was young, his dream is drive the Bentley without the parents' support. He's like only 98. So.
Born in '98. So
yeah, born in '98. I'm sorry, born.
He's only 98. He's driving a Bentley.
I knew the people after 80 cannot drive a Bentley.
Yeah.
So he just, but he hates the other people call him, in China we call the art, that is like the new money.
Yeah, the new money.
The new money.
Second generation of
the new money who use the old money's money. So yes, so it's like that. And he really hates the people call let me introduce, he is a blah 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 son. And then he just left his family and starting to grab some cool people were let's do a necklace brand. So he grabbed some necklace. Yeah, just a necklace brand. And at the beginning, it's just a really small business. And then he made it really big because he spent so much money on fancy car. Every time when he made some money, he just all gave them to the car shop, and then one day he really just used all these pressure from the money to bought him own Bentley, and he only born '98. This is, to me, it sounds so incredible.
It's an inspirational story, actually.
Yeah.
But because of the time, for this time's sake, and we need to wrap up very quickly, but still we want to turn to Zheng Yu for real quick. Because we were discussed before this live stream, and you mentioned that you spend only 1 or 2% of what you make. Can you share about logics behind that, or the philosophy of your spending habit? Because you are in a world with a lot of people would spend a lot of money just to look good or to feel good. But you said you make $10 and you only spend $1 or $2. And now because of COVID-19, you want to spend more and it starts to spend $3. so why is that?
My expense habit is very traditional. I don't use credit card unless I go abroad. Yeah. I think in traditional Chinese culture, we don't 提倡应该怎么讲
promote.
We not promote to waste. Yeah, I think a lot of shopping is waste for in our traditional culture. But after the COVID, I'm willing to expend some more money
to release that pressure. Yeah.
Parents always gonna say you don't really need that, you don't have to buy this.
Yeah,
but now I feel he would like to spend more, definitely more than before.
Yeah. Our parents always talk with us. You don't need to buy that.
Don't waste the money.
Yeah, it's useless.
But I think after COVID-19, more and more people are conscious about to improve their decoration in a home, the home or the office, because you spend a lot of time at home. Working from distance, so they are rearranging in their home, and finally they have some time to arrange in their home, to make a better environment that you will spend more time,
Absolutely, I think just right now with fast development, because of all those like new rich people, new money, all the money that the Chinese people can make, we can enjoy a little bit, of course. And but as we have been discussing, it could be a learning process, and we're hopefully that we can come back down to the earth and we come to become a little bit more rational. And of course, a lot of our viewers have been commenting online, like they think they cannot afford a luxury and they think it's just show off. But to a certain extent, it could be a show off, but also it could be a representation of culture, like the box that you presented is about time, it's about history. Yeah. And I love the discussion. I hope that we can carry on, but because of the time's sake, and we need to wrap up now, and of course, and hopefully that we can bring more like similar discussions in the near future, talk about fashion, lifestyle, and hopefully a lot more Chinese culture. And thanks so much for you guys. And I learned a lot of things from Ms. Zhang about the culture, about your brand, and of course for younger aspirational bloggers and to learn more about fashion and what's in trend. And hopefully our viewers also enjoy this episode and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, as well as Weibo, the Chinese version of Twitter. And stay tuned and hope to see you very soon.
Yes.